How are you, buddy?
Ah, man, so happy to be here. I love this topic. First, huge thanks to Outdoorsy Girl O, I think is her name, for suggesting this topic, and
Yes.
that is awesome. And Jim, thank you so much for biting and doing it. How you doing, my friend?
Like that was a stretch for me to bite on this one, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You were probably, why hadn't I thought of that before?
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, no, I was going to cover this one. In fact, this won't be the last one, Jason. You know that.
Rock on, my friend. Rock on. So what's the question? I was actually, if I might diverge from the topic just a bit.
Certainly.
I've got a few children, and I've got 5 kids, and the 3 youngest are in Cub Scouts. That is ending with our religious organization here in 2020, and tonight was their last Cub meeting. And they had, I don't know if you have heard of the Candy Bomber of World War II.
The Candy Bomber of World War II. No, I have not.
No, he's a guy that rallied the troops. I mean, it would probably take me too long to explain it all, but at the end of the war, the Soviet rule in East Germany cut off transportation within the west part of Berlin, so they couldn't get any food, and so they flew in. I mean, this is all historically documented. They flew in they airlifted bags of flour and sugar and all sorts of necessities during the time, and I don't know how long that went on. But the Candy Bomber was a guy, just a pilot, and he was looking over the fence that divided east from west, and there were kids there, and of course the whole place was war torn, and he gave them some gum, and they ripped it all up and spread it across all the kids so that all the kids could get just a tiny morsel. And he thought, you know what, I'm going to take my rations and fly them, and they put the rations and the chocolate and gum were in their
Sea rats.
food. Yeah, cigarettes.
No. I'm sorry, sea rats. With the
Sea rats.
sea rations we called sea rats.
Okay,
and yes,
thank you. Yeah, I am not in the military, so please,
Sorry.
please forgive my inability and my lack of vernacular and all that other good stuff. But
no,
anyway,
I kind of threw that hard, but yes, they did have cigarettes in them though.
Okay, all
Yes.
right. So anyway, they would tie some strings to a handkerchief and give them bundles of candy as they went flying.
Cool.
And it would turn into a huge phenomenon. It was worldwide in the news, and if you look up the Candy Bomber, you'll be able to read all about it. But he is related to one of my neighbors in my community, and he is 99 years old. And tonight we got to meet him. I got to take a picture with this dude. It was amazing. He still is upright. He's walking around. It was just, it was like, I was close to tears the whole time.
Yeah, that is so cool, dude. And now that you mention it, I have heard that story, but it's been years. That's so cool, dude. That is so cool.
Years and years and years. So anyway, we just got back from that. And 1 second.
Sure. While you're doing that, somebody asked, who was it that asked if a recorder, if I considered a recorder an instrument that was Explosive Phoenix? Yes, absolutely. Like someone else said in the chat, I think anything that you can play or manipulate that is musical could be considered an instrument. Am I wrong in that, Jason?
You are not wrong.
Cool.
You are not wrong. I mean, music, a musical instrument is basically anything that can create sound. Honestly, it's
Oh, and by the way, I kicked the recorder's ass with Mary Had a Little Lamb. I rock. Mary Had a Little Lamb.
You wouldn't happen to have a recorder to provide us some proof on that, would you?
I do not. It was an empty boast.
Yeah. So cool. As you probably know, I'm kind of a musician, and I couldn't help. I couldn't help but notice. I was actually in the meeting with the Candy Bomber, and I got the notification. I was like, no, I've got to leave this. I've got to make sure to be there. So my wife is actually still down there, and I was like, I've got to go home to be part of this, because I don't know.
Oh, I'm honored, dude. I am so honored. That's cool, because I thought for sure once you saw it, you would say, yeah, I'm going to be on that show.
Yes, sir.
I had no idea it was going to be pull you away from that sort of thing.
No. It was done.
Oh,
It was
okay,
done.
okay.
My wife just loves to linger. She'll be there for hours until nobody else is there, and then she'll come home.
Hey, so you're welcome. I was your out.
Yes, yes. Yeah. You know what? There's more truth to that than I will let on.
Mrs. Magic, you didn't hear that.
Yes. Oh man. So I kind of came in at the tail end of your monologue, and you are a percussionist, right?
Yes.
Did you start with drums?
I did start with drums, and it was basically because I think you've heard the story about me playing Wipeout on like kitchen table or something. My brother and I were doing it. He couldn't do the 16th, so he was like doing it in eighths, and I was able to do the 16th. Yeah. Yeah, and it was from then on I knew that I had something, you know, that I could turn into, that I could utilize behind the kit. But it wasn't until I want to say I was 16, 17 years old when I bought my first kit, and that was the first time I'd ever sat behind a drum kit. And it felt just natural. It just felt like I belonged there, right? And I played for maybe a year, almost got into a couple bands, you know, actually with the same guys. I don't know if you saw some of the pictures earlier, but this picture here, the two guys on guitars, the bass players over to the left, those guys are brothers, and I grew up with those guys, and we played back then, just, you know, knocking through some songs back in the day, never went and played live. And then life got in the way for me. They continued to play. In fact, I still play with them to this day. In fact, I was there last night. And Patty, to answer the question you probably have, sitting on a cajon and bending over that way to play a cajon hurts. But if I'm able to sit upright and play, you know, the kit, I'm okay for maybe, you know, an hour at a time. Then I need some back support. So. But yeah, these guys I've been playing with forever, and I forgot where I was going with that.
I just asked if you were starting with percussion.
Yeah, but I sold that kit probably when I was just getting ready to get out of high school, and because life got in the way, I didn't pick it back up until like 2008, like 10 or 11 years ago. And that you saw was like 2010, and we're playing small clubs, you know, all cover stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm a hack of the highest order behind the kit, but I could keep time.
Dude, okay, so I've got a bone to pick with that statement.
Oh no,
I really do, my friend. And I know. Actually, I was just talking to somebody like today earlier, a producer here in Utah. And he talked about drummers that had all of the chops, had all of the technical abilities, that could not
keep time. Yeah,
not keep time. So the comment of I'm a hack behind the kit. The only thing I can do is keep time, and keeping time is by far the most important thing a drummer can do, even if it's just 4 on the floor, and that is it. You are already way more than half the way there.
I agree, and so I can't even take offense to that critique of that statement, because I totally agree, dude. When I say I'm a hack, I say I'm totally self-taught. I can't stick with rudiments. I mean, it bores the crap out of me.
Right.
And what I end up doing, even though I can keep time, I end up making sure that those people in front of me who can't keep time, I have to mold myself. So the pocket is always
look good.
Well, the pocket's always fluctuating with some musicians, as you know.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Because I could hold a pocket, and then we would lose each other. And when you're playing out live, you just can't do that. So, you know, as a drummer, you have to adjust. But where I say I'm a hack is that I don't know, man. Like I said, I don't know that I have too many tricks in my bag, if you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, but still, my brother, I've talked to top producers who say that they purposely get drummers who not only can keep time, but have proven that they can just keep time.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing that they're interested in. I mean, having a toolkit, you know, if you're playing with like Yes or Rush or bands that are known for their technical prowess, then for sure. But
yeah, that's like
all of the other, I mean, country, pop, rock, folk, all of it. The drums are simultaneously the backbone and the most boring. I mean, that is they're there to make the band the band. What you said about the pocket being fluid is absolutely right. And if the drummer cannot do his job, which is to keep time, the band is no longer a band. It's just a bunch of musicians on stage that can't communicate.
That's true. That's absolutely true. And not only do you have to go with the flow with some of those people who have a little bit of difficulty with time, but you also have to bring them back. You know, yeah,
absolutely.
There's our job. Our job is arguably the most difficult. One, we have to find them. One, we have to we have to like go out and get them, and then we've got to bring them. Yeah, then we've got to bring them back, right? and it really bugs me, Jason. I'm going to air some dirty laundry here. It bugs the shit out of me to have somebody in front of me start saying we need to go faster. You know, because they'll like tap their foot faster or something. And it's like
right.
No, you don't get it. I am going the time in the song that I practiced 1,000 times.
Yep.
You may think that the energy of the crowd demands it, but that's not how it's done.
I hear you. So for me, and man, I can't agree with you more. If I'm with someone who I don't trust as far as time goes, because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but almost all drummers, if they're making a mistake, they are going too fast. It just slowly gets faster and faster and faster. And
rarely do they fall off the other side.
Rarely, yeah. I'm one of the oddballs. In fact, I'm in a band called The Crew, and he, after a particularly long time that we hadn't practiced or hadn't gigged, I think it was like 2 or 3 months, we went back to a gig without practicing. And I play with pro musicians. They are amazing. I feel so humbled and honored to play with the musicians that I play with. Our bassist is awesome. Our guitarist is awesome. Our lead vocal, male and female, are just amazing. I mean, I find myself wondering how in the heck I got to be part of this. I mean, honestly, I mean, I know that I'm okay, but man, when you're just surrounded with these guys that just, it's like a dessert. It's like your favorite dessert, and you go to the place where they specialize in making this dessert, and you've got it in front of you, and you just know it's going to be delicious, and you take a bite, and it's even more delicious than you could possibly imagine. It's like you almost don't feel like you belong.
Yeah, like you don't deserve that.
I don't deserve that. That's what I feel like with these musicians, and they're amazing. So the reason I'm going down this road is the guy that is the lead singer, the guy who basically puts money in my pocket for playing drums, which is just insane in and of itself. I can't believe that somebody's willing to pay me to play the drums. But he'll do that. He'll turn back and he'll just give me a thumbs up. And I'll be like, okay, just a little bit faster. I'll speed up just a little bit. But I trust him intrinsically. It's like, dude, my job is to make you look as good as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do that. But on the flip side, if it's the guys where we're already getting close to afterburner status, we were playing so fast and the guitar is like, dude, go faster. I'm like, screw you. Not going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm playing this already burning fast and there's no way we're going faster.
Yeah. And I've been in that. I've been in those shoes. Absolutely. But you got to agree with me that when you play with an extraordinary group of musicians, it brings your level up higher than what you think you're capable of.
Oh, the ability to perform.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
I could not agree with you more.
Yeah.
That's why I feel so thankful to be with this group of guys and girls. It's like I've got to really up my game. I've got to give it everything I've got, and it of course makes me play to a little bit higher of a level that I normally do.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's more being just more aware of your surroundings, and I mean by the folks that surround you. Yeah. But also, I don't know. It's suddenly you become hyper aware. And
you do.
Yeah, and you think, well. And suddenly it becomes easier. For me, it does. And I've played with several different musicians, and I love playing with a whole group, different groups, because of that particular aspect of it, where there's no preconceived notions. So you get to go in there and just you'll end up being at the level they are, is what I've found. Not exactly, but you know what I mean. Yeah.
I do. Yeah, you've got to. You really got to. So I gotta tell you an experience.
Sure.
We played for. We had the amazing opportunity. I didn't realize it was an amazing opportunity, but because me and sports are like oil and water, cats and dogs. I just don't care. I don't, whatever.
Yeah.
But we had the opportunity to play the pregame show for a BYU football game. And I didn't know that it was a big deal. And we got there, and they were building a stage just for us. I mean, this way bigger than we needed. And they had blocked off a street in the middle of downtown Provo, right outside the Lavelle Edwards Stadium. And when we were playing, there were just a few people. But after like the second and third song, there were probably close to 5,000 or 6,000 people, just all over the place. The reason I tell you this is we were playing, we do just 100% covers, or whatever the venue wants us to play, that's what we play. And so we were playing some covers, and one of my goals is to cause one of the musicians around me to let me know if you know this. So the guitarist is up there, he goes like this. I love that. And so we were playing X's and O's, a cover of X's and O's, and I was just like rocking that jungle beat, just rocking it. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Chris, the guitarist, just like, nice, dude. And I was like, yeah, buddy. It was so much fun. Oh my gosh, so much fun.
Those are the memories that you couldn't plan if you tried, man.
Amen.
God, and I've said it before, playing to a large crowd that loves what you're doing is one of the greatest feelings on the face of this planet, man.
It sure is, man. I wish I didn't like it as much as I did, but
why is that?
I'm in the zone. I don't know. I'm an introvert. I've told you before, I'm an introvert, and I really don't need the stage. I could be just fine in the studio, but I think I said that before we had that BYU gig. And it was fun. It was way fun. Oh. I mean, we were about halfway through, and we were just jamming through a song. I don't even remember what song it was. And the cheerleading team comes down, and they just start dancing to the beat that we were playing. And I was like, oh my gosh! It sounded like, holy crap, this is awesome. And so the lead singer, Johnny, like turned around, and he was like immediately, he was like mouthing stuff to the guitar and bassist, and I'm like halfway worried because I'm not sure if he's gonna get it to me or if I'm just gonna have to like psychically know what the heck is going on. And we end that song, and immediately it turns out, and he's like, Uptown Funk. And I was like, yeah! So we started the bass, just boom, 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 boom. I was just like, yeah! Cheerleaders started dancing to it, and the crowd was just going crazy. I was like, yeah!
That's awesome.
Sorry. I get a little bit animated, but man, that was awesome.
Well, which is why I think you're lying to me. I think you enjoyed a lot more than you get let on.
Yeah.
Because come on, man.
If I could do that, yeah, you know what? You're right.
If I could do that for a living, I would. Yeah, without question.
For a living? Holy crap.
Yeah. Of course, kids get in the way. Family gets in the way.
Family, yeah, they get in the way, but in the best way.
Oh, well, honestly, what I mean by that is they keep you from actually doing that, because then you would neglect family. We all know the musician stories, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I know it, and it is true.
Yes.
It is absolutely true, and I believe, honestly, that is why I believe the universe or God or whatever you believe in led me down the path of not doing it. I had the opportunity to play with two bands who didn't go on like international fame, but definitely were making a living on the road. And I just felt in my heart that wasn't the right answer. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What? No. And I have a habit of listening to my heart. I mean, for better or worse, I trust my gut. And then my fantastic family came along, and I thought, you know what? If I was on the road, I would not be thinking about family.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's no good for the kids, right? No good for the wife. And
amen.
Yeah.
Preach.
Yeah. It's one of those things where
it really is. And I wish it was different. I really wish that I could say, nah, there's I think you can make it work. And I think maybe you can, but that would just be ridiculously difficult.
Yes, yes, and like I said, the road is littered with broken families. I mean, littered with broken families, and it's
And it's
because of the
obvious
time
why.
away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that and yeah, and and astray. Yeah, being going astray.
All sorts of garbage along the way that just does not. It's just not, unfortunately,
Well, there's
musician's life.
yeah, there's something, and even worse is you pile on household name fame, right? Where you're known as in every household.
Yeah.
And suddenly you're not a normal person anymore, and people are telling you that all the time, and that just that even drives a larger wedge in between that and the family. So
I hear what you're saying. I believe it 100%, man.
yeah, you would almost have to plan on doing that. But take the guys from Rush. Rush is a great example because they were able to all keep families. They toured in such a way that was family friendly, and most of them are still married to the same people today. Save for Neil and his losses, but you got to do it right, and so many don't do it right. But then again, when you think about it, like you said, you found your place. You found where you want to be, where you should.
I do, and I'm so grateful. I'm so very grateful because with you now, I was listening to Patty, and I got to say, I mentioned in the chat, I am so jealous of her upbringing because I was not born into a musical family. I mean, they weren't anti, but I remember asking my mom as I was watching. I think I was watching. This probably wasn't the best thing, but I was watching a Boy George music video back way in the 80s.
Was it Karma Chameleon or what was it?
Something like
Do
that.
You Want to Love Me or something?
Probably Karma Chameleon. And I was like, Mom, can you do music like for a job like what Dad does? And she looked at me and she says, No.
Oh.
No. And I am so believing and naive, and I've got a very passive personality. I just believed her. And I ended up having a good programming career, but man, I wonder, those what ifs, and like what would have happened if she would have said, yeah, you know what, let's get you into some drum lessons.
Yeah.
Let's lean into this a little bit and see what you're made of, because I didn't get serious about it. Like I did not get serious about it until my late 20s.
Yeah,
and,
which was much earlier than I did. But
the first time I got my drum kit was when I was 14. I took piano from age 8 to 13-ish, and then got my drum kit at 14, and then piano was like gone. I was just like you. I felt like I belonged there.
Yeah.
It felt so natural, and it came just like swimming to a fish.
Yeah.
And but I just kind of wish, I'm like, man alive, I'm grateful for the piano lessons. But,
sure. Yeah.
Oof, where would I be now if they'd put a guitar in my hands or and man, I love my parents. Holy cow, I won the lottery with my parents. They are amazing people. I can't say anything bad about them. It's like, man, what if? But you'll never know, I mean, that's probably a pretty pessimistic way of thinking, but
well,
I'm super grateful.
There's always that what if, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I was doing earlier when I was talking about Me Too. I wish I had been brought up that way. And partially, actually, a lot of it was my fault. Sex, drugs, and listening to rock and roll was a big part of my life early on. So those were distractions that kept me from that sort of thing. Right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I take some of the blame myself. Because you can't blame your parents. I grew up, and you did probably to a certain extent. Well, your mom said no. My father always said no. I mean, there's just one of those things where starving musicians was a meme for them. Right.
And they don't want that as a parent. You don't want that for your kid.
No, you don't. Unless you were brought up in music, and
like Patty's.
Yes.
Patty's parents are like, yeah, dude, music's all around. Let's do this. Oh man, I can't even imagine.
Oh, I can so see myself playing instruments in a symphony or in theater, because I love going to the theater, and I love sitting right in front of the pit, man, because they've got all the pro musicians down in there, and they're playing all the instruments that I grew up with, in addition to a lot of woodwinds and strings and that sort of thing as well. And it's just I'm mesmerized by that more than I am the show on the stage.
Me too.
That's how sick I am.
Me too. No, they what the shows that I've gone to, the pit is really low, like, and you can't see any of the musicians, but I'm like, oh, I just wish I was a little closer. I could look down in there and see what's really going on.
Well, we've been very fortunate to have a lot of front row tickets. My wife's boss goes a lot, and she's got 4, so we end up getting those tickets a lot. And we're literally a curtain away from the musicians. And of course, they're at foot level.
Lucky.
But all I got to do is raise up a little bit, and I can see the entire drum kit behind the sound glass, and the bass player's right in front of the conductor. I could reach out and touch him if I had to. It's really awesome. If you guys ever get the chance, at least once, and I'm talking to everybody in the chat and all, and everybody watching this later, go see a theater. If you like musicians at all, go to a theater production that has a pit, and splurge at least once for front row tickets sometime. Just do it. Yeah. You'll never regret it, because it's so awesome to watch those guys in action. They're all playing silent, right? So they've got their headphones in, and it's all over the amps. They've got no stage, no back, nothing. And it's just awesome to watch, dude. But I can see myself doing that if I'd taken that path. Yeah. Ultimately, we've got to really just embrace where we are in life and where we're headed, and just move forward. Yep. But I'm with you. I'm with you there. I feel like you're kind of a kindred spirit, Jim. Oh yeah, absolutely. You had mentioned an instrument that had not mastered yet. Yes, or just aspire to play. You've never even touched. Might I introduce to you the Zamponia? Oh man, where is Zamfir when you need him? Look at that, man. Yeah, exactly. Hold that up, Jason. Yeah. Oh man, look at that. It's 2-tier. It is authentic. Yeah, actually they're supposed to be together, but they're convertible as well. Yeah, you're supposed to not wire. I mean, this is what I bought in Colombia. I spent a couple of years down there, and I was in musical heaven with all of the authentic stuff down there. And while Patty was talking about, she was the one that had mentioned the instruments that you aspire to play or whatever. I was like, oh my gosh, where's my Zamponia? And I ran away, and luckily I found it. But I don't know that I could play it, but that's gotta be a tough one. There we go. And then I don't know how you get to the second level, but so they're all tuned individually, so there's no they're not. Yeah. Anyway, this is. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Now you've played for a crowd, Jason. You're awesome, Jim. Hey, do you have somebody waiting? It's 9:20. Oh yeah, no, I do, but I think Raven will understand. I am going to have to shut her down. Okay. Raven, I'm so sorry, honey. We'll get you up next time, and even if you want to talk about instruments, you can. But no, that's going to do it for tonight, bud. Gotcha. All right, I was hog. I felt like a little selfish, but. Oh no, and like I said, my apologies to Raven, but these sort of subjects do tend to go on, because I could talk about this forever, dude. You know what? We could probably we could go on for at least 2 or 3 hours. Oh yeah. Oh, without question. Yeah. I'm still waiting. I would love to have you behind a drum kit for one of my songs or something. I don't know if you have the capability of recording a drum kit or whatnot, but collaboration between Video Calling Show and Magic Jones would not be outside the realm of possibility here. I think that would be a lot of fun, Jason, and I'm willing to try. Hell, I could hook the electronics straight up to this mixer right here and get those sounds. You could. What, is it a Roland? No, it's a Yamaha. Did you not see the picture of it earlier? I wasn't here for the whole. I got on,
for the last 3 minutes of your monologue before Patty. There we go.
Yeah,
those sound good from the get-go.
Yeah, I mean it's the higher end Yamaha. It's before they went to the soft pads, the white ones. But you can actually you can tune those individually within the drum kits. So they've got a little red knob on them, and it literally changes the pitch.
Really?
Yes, and of course there's just hundreds of kits, hundreds of sound effects. It is electronic, so you know some of the and I've sampled sounds. In fact, my cymbals are my A customs.
Right on. That's the right way to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely the right way to do it.
But I didn't take any of my snares, and I'm still looking for a Blackulite for you. They're getting more expensive. People are really starting to grab those up. You know, the 80s Acrolite, Ludwig Acrolites, yeah. Because now they've all of a sudden discovered, it's not just a student snare. That thing sounds great.
Sounds great. Exactly.
Well, you take and do what I do to it, and it sounds even better because I replace them with all tube lugs. And of course, I go with the heavier rings, not the S rings, not the stick breakers, the S ones. Remember those?
Right.
But also a better throw off. Was it Dunham? I think is the name. It's been a while since I've jacked with this. And then they just sound phenomenal in the right heads. I can't remember. The Hazy 300 is going to be the snare side. The Pro, and of course the brass, the Pro Sound snares.
Pro Sound, yeah.
With the nylon straps. I prefer the nylon straps as opposed to the strings, not the cheap flimsy plastic ones. I'm talking about the nice nylon ones. Yep. And I think, oh man, I can't remember the batter head. But anyway, I'm still looking for one of those.
Ambassador, perhaps.
What's that? It might be a Remo Ambassador. There's two of them I like. I like the Remo Ambassador, and I think the Evans. What is it? The EC2? Because it's not.
Oh, I'm not familiar with Evans. I need to be though.
Oh, you're more of a Remo guy.
I just what I've always used.
Oh.
I put on a couple of. Actually, I've had every time I've used an Evans head, it's been a bad experience, and I'm pretty sure that it wasn't Evans. I mean, one of them, I was a brand new head, and I played Metallica's Enter Sandman. Actually, it was a cover, and the third to the last hit, it literally just tore. Like the whole head just tore. And I was like, oh my gosh! And it was like the second or third song that I had played on the head.
And it had to be a bad hit.
Of course, I just got a lemon. Of course, it's not that's not Evan's fault at all.
Oh yeah. No, they're far too big for that to happen on a regular basis.
Agreed. Yeah, that is not status quo for their heads.
No. But I'll look that up because I've got my Blackula right in there that I should actually pull out and show you. One of these days I will. We're running out of time. But
yes.
Where was I going with that? Shit, I forgot.
It's that time of night.
It is.
I've still got a stream tonight, so after we turn this off, I'm gonna. I'm starting a new song. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. So.
Cool.
We'll see.
Well, guys, we're just gonna call a raid now. As soon as this show's over, we're gonna head over to Magic Jones. If you guys want to join us, feel free to. But Jason, as always, man, it's such a pleasure to talk to you, especially about music, and I can't thank you enough, man.
Brother, right back at you. That's why I came here just ready for a good time, and you did deliver.
Awesome. All right, buddy. Thanks again for being on. We will catch you on your stream here shortly. We'll just kind of hang out, and then when you start up, do you know when you're starting up? Just right away?
It'll be right away.
Okay.
Right away. So I'm going to, it'll take me probably 10 or 15 minutes to get everything set up, and then we'll be on.
Okay. Awesome, dude. We will see you over there, bud.
All right. You take care.
Thanks again.
Awesome.